Greetings, everyone. I'm Nick DiVirgilio, and today we're celebrating TAMA's 50th anniversary with three amazing reissue snare drums: the Mastercraft Artwood, the Mastercraft Rosewood, and the Mastercraft Steel. Let's go. The 80s were an incredible time for TAMA drums. TAMA was a relatively new brand, and they came out of the gate running hard. The products they were producing quickly became sought after by some of the best drummers of the day. All three snares I have with me today originally were released in the 1980s, and TAMA has faithfully reissued these classic drums for all of us to enjoy today. If you're a TAMA fan or a snare drum collector, you're going to want to take a closer look at all of these drums. Before we get into the sounds of each of these drums, I ask that you like this video and subscribe to our channel if you're not already a subscriber. And one other thing I want to mention is all the other great gear I have around me so you can hear these drums in their cleanest, fullest, best sound. I have Telefunken microphones on all three snare drums, M80s and an M81. There's a Beyerdynamic TGD71 out in front of the kick drum, also a U87, a Neumann U87 out in front of the drum kit, an AE8 N8 out in the room, two Earthworks SR25s as overheads, everything feeding into a couple of Apollo, UA Apollo 8Ps, and then into Pro Tools. Just want to give you a nice clean sound of these snare drums, unaffected, and that's what you're hearing. Also, I gotta mention, I'm going all over the place, but I gotta mention this amazing TAMA reissued Superstar drum kit. Faithfully reissued just like these snare drums. They're really celebrating their 50-year anniversary in a huge way. And last but not least are these fantastic Sabian cymbals. I have an HHX Anthology 22-inch ride, awesome cymbal, and 15-inch HHX Legacy hats. Also, my NDV Nick DiVirgilio signature ProMark drumsticks. Woohoo! First up is the Mastercraft Steel 14 by 6.5 drum. Before I get into this drum, I want to mention that all of the drums have the exact same hardware. So you're going to get the original Superstar badge, 10 original Superstar lugs, die-cast hoops, the roller action strainer with extended snare wires, the one-touch tone control, which is a really cool piece, and we'll get into that. All the drums come with TAMA/Remo coated ambassador heads for the batter side and a clear resonant head. So the main difference with all these drums is the shells. This steel drum is a 1.2 millimeter steel shell with this 8-line ridge in the middle of the shell, and it looks fantastic. When drums have a vibe and a look to them, they really inspire you to want to play the drum, and this drum definitely does that. It's loud and cracking, very musical, sensitive, all of those things. So let's get into the sound of this drum. I'm going to turn the snare wires off first, then the snare wires on and back and forth. Here we go. I immediately want to sit down and start playing Nirvana tunes as soon as I sit behind this kit. Just gives you that vibe. When you're not bashing the drum, it's super sensitive, so you can do all kinds of things with this drum. And I have it tuned mid-level. You can go high, you can go low. This would be a great sounding drum with a nice thuddy sound for a ballad. You probably heard when I was playing with the snare wires off, I used the one-touch tone control and dampened up the drum. Now back in the day, I'm not sure why this became a thing where drums don't have it as much as they used to, but snare dampeners used to be on the inside of drums pretty much regularly. Now, not so much with modern drums. They put a really easy-to-use dampener on all of these snares. It's just over here on the side of the drum. Let me do it for you right now. One flick of the wrist and it's on. What's cool about this particular tone control is it doesn't take away the attack of the drum. You'll still hear every stroke when it hits the head, and it won't be deadened up or thuddy. Wide open. Little dampened. What a cool feature. The die-cast hoops give you amazing side stick sounds. Really powerful and warm sounding. There's definitely a tone. Use the butt end of your stick, and you'll get a big, fat, deep sound. Now on to the next snare drum, the Mastercraft Rosewood. When TAMA first introduced the Rosewood snare in the 80s, it was the first and only 100% rosewood drum of its kind in the drum market. Rosewood is hard and dense, and is commonly used on guitar fretboards. Because the wood is so dense, 100% rosewood drum shells are extremely difficult to produce. The sound is dark, full-bodied, and has a really wide dynamic range, and you're going to hear that sound right now. Well, hopefully you could tell how round and deep the sound is. It's tuned mid-level, pretty much how it was right out of the box. I only tweaked it just a little bit, but it's got this dark, thuddy tone to it because of that thick and just dense rosewood shell. The shell is 7.5 and 15 plies, all right? So that's really thick, and that's why you get that sound. All of the same hardware that I described earlier is on this drum. Let's play this drum with that tone control going on and off like I did with the steel drum, so you can hear the difference. Here we go. So with just the tone control on and off, you get completely different tones, and it's really easy to get musical and go back and forth. Super easy to use and turn on and off. It's a great piece. Last but not least is the Mastercraft Artwood 14x5 snare drum. They also make this drum in a 6.5 version as well. It's got a fantastic look on this drum because of the multi-section contrasting colored centered wood inlay. Look at it, it's really beautiful and perfectly done. It's got a cracking tone, and it is very musical as well. The shell is 9mm, 6 plies of all birch wood. And again, all of the same hardware as the rest of the drums. Now let's get into the sound of this drum. Snare wires off, snare wires on, tone control on and off, all kinds of fun. Here's what it sounds like. Here we go. cracking, but still very warm because of that birch shell. Very easy to play and super inspiring with the look. Just all of these drums have so much going for them. And there you go, 3 fantastic snare drums to celebrate TAMA's 50-year anniversary. Remember, there's actually 5 snare drums. The steel comes in a 6.5 and a 5. The Rosewood comes in a 6.5, and the Artwood comes in a 6.5 and a 5. So lots of options here to celebrate TAMA's 50-year anniversary. Also, these drums are available in limited quantities, so make sure you get one while you can. If you want any more information about any of this great TAMA gear I have here with me today, make sure you contact your Sweetwater sales engineer or head on over to sweetwater.com. Thanks so much for hanging out. I'm going to have some more fun playing these drums. See you again next time, everybody. Cheers.